Season's greetings!
Hello everyone, welcome to the Unconventional Intentional Homemaking podcast. Today, if you hadn't guessed, we're talking about holiday season and traditions and how we have an intentional Christmas. I'm Issa.
I'm Blaise.
And together we make intentional homemaking videos. And right now is the holiday season.
Yes. We should probably also add that we are married and a family unit.
We're a family unit. It's just us, and a dog and a cat. And we're very happy.
And we have our Christmas together, yes.
We do. But we are a neurodiverse household to start with, which means we do things maybe slightly differently.
Yeah, mostly because I'm difficult. Yeah.
And I'm antisocial.
I'm very antisocial.
And we are also trying our very best to focus on having a more intentional life. And that approach is something we like to think we do at Christmas as well.
Would like to hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, our Christmas is very planned and regimented. I'm not quite sure if that's the same as intentional.
We do a lot of planning when it comes to Christmas. I actually think, for me, I can take or leave Christmas Day itself, but it's all the planning, the weeks leading up to it, that are the bits that I really enjoy.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I like Christmas itself too, but I think I enjoy the lead up, all of the planning,
The atmosphere, the season,
yeah.
the songs, the unity. Like, you go out and people wish you season's greetings or a Merry Christmas. People are, quote unquote, more social.
That's probably the bit I like least. No, there is something to be said for community at this time of year. Feeling more together. And we do that by ignoring the world. So should we talk about how we have an intentional Christmas?
So we intentionally hibernate for the whole of December.
We do. We have a policy that once we get to the 1st of December, that's it. The year's over for us.
The social year is
The
definitely
social year,
I do have to go to work and I do have work stuff.
But the social pressure of the year is generally over. Like, we don't force ourselves to do things if we don't want to do them.
It's not that we do anyway.
No, but more so. Like, we intentionally go into hibernation mode.
Yes. And more to the point, it's more socially acceptable for us to tell people that we're going into hibernation mode. Because me being neurodiverse, I have autism, so I'm immediately out of routine. Everything's immediately different.
Yeah, you find Christmas quite difficult.
I do. And I think a lot of our traditions actually lean into that a lot.
Yeah, so we developed a way of doing Christmas together that meant that everything was the same year on year. So we developed a routine surrounding Christmas that meant every year you knew what to expect. And that's kind of how we get over everything's different at Christmas.
Yeah, everything's different, but for that day the same.
Yes.
So I know what to expect Christmas Day.
Like, yeah, you know that the first weekend of December is the day that we focus on doing Christmas decorations and things.
Yes. So even within the season, we do a lot of similar things. So, like, yeah, sure, the music's different for the rest of the year, but Christmas music's the same year on year.
You can't get much more samey than Christmas music, I don't think.
I will play the same 12 songs on repeat.
So that's how we've done it, because we should probably explain that a little bit better, in that not everybody, but people with autism, one of the traits often is that you struggle with things changing, and the holiday season is a time when literally everything changes. The music changes, the atmosphere changes, the lighting changes, the social pressure changes, what you eat changes.
There's literally nothing at Christmas that stays the same to the rest of the year.
Yeah. So that is something that I learned is very difficult.
And that's why I value that sameness within those differences. And why we have come up with this very planned Christmas.
Intentional Christmas.
We have a very intentional Christmas because that's what we need.
And the intention that we focus on for our holiday season is making it as comfortable as possible for us.
Yes.
So we both have sensory issues surrounding lighting and noise, and there is nothing quite like Christmas lighting and noise.
Yeah, so all of those like holiday decor that sing and dance,
They're not allowed.
No.
Like, we don't have lights that flash.
Yeah, no sparkly lights. They all have to be.
They all have to stay on.
Yeah, very solid lights. Yeah, music. I tend to put my headphones in so that we don't have to tolerate
Music doesn't really change that much for me for the year.
And a lot of the things that we do are actually surrounding controlling my autism and its symptoms, actually.
Yes.
While also being quote unquote traditional.
But also enjoying the magic.
Yeah, enjoying the magic, fitting in all the traditions that we grew up with. So yeah, it's being very British.
Yes. We do have a very British Christmas, aside from the fact that there's just us and a dog and a cat, and the dog and the cat don't care at all for some reason.
No.
They don't get into the Christmas spirit.
They know.
So other than that, we have a very quote-unquote normal British Christmas, but we have developed a set of traditions that mean a lot to us, and they make Christmas magical. So we should probably start with describing what some of those are. I've alluded to the first weekend of the December.
Yep. All the decor comes out.
Yeah.
But because we decorate for the season anyway, like that's normal but different already. So we'll come out of our autumn decor and into Christmas decor.
Yeah.
And then actually after Christmas, between Christmas, New Year and into winter, we then change to winter decor.
Yeah, we transition to winter.
Yeah. So this season actually gets 2 looks.
It does.
Yes.
And it's not actually that long since I did do the big Christmas clean and decorate, so we are just enjoying our new decor right now.
Which is very nice. It's always a struggle to fit the tree in somewhere, because someone, not naming names, Cora the dog, really likes to steal Christmas baubles off the tree and decorate the garden.
Yeah,
so
she does.
That's a whole challenge of keeping her away from the baubles.
The cat's old now, but when she was young, she climbed to the top of the tree and just sit there peeking out from the branches. Which is actually not a particularly safe thing for cats to do.
No.
Because of lights and getting tangled in them and stuff. It's very hard to stop them.
Well, we solved that by having a dog. So the dog stops the cat from coming near the tree.
That's true. The dog
that was where I was going with that.
Inadvertently guards the Christmas tree.
The dog and the cat do not get along.
But that's also the weekend that we focus on making sure we've got our Christmas gifts sorted for family. We like to have that done by the first weekend.
We do, yeah, and then that's out my head
and done. Yeah, done. It doesn't mean we haven't got a lot left to do for Christmas. We have.
We like to go to a Christmas market.
We always go to a Christmas market or two because we love those.
I mean, sometimes a little bit earlier because this is the thing
they start from end of November.
Yeah.
So we've actually already been to a Christmas market this year.
Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah, end of November, getting into December, we batten down the hatches, we hibernate.
Yeah, I think the social pressures of holiday time is something that isn't massively talked about. And I think a lot of people struggle with how much socialising is expected of them during this time of year. And we got to an age where we just kind of went, no, we're not doing that anymore.
I think particularly for me, it's not only that social pressure on top of everything else that's different, but the weather is that I really struggle with the weather as well. It's cold and wet, and I do not respond well when I'm cold and wet. I mean, there's been times where I've taken the dog for a walk and come home and just had a meltdown with my autism and cried because I got cold and wet. And it's just so overstimulating, and it's just too much.
Yeah. So we very much focus on our small little cosy family unit during Christmas time,
which works really well for us. Because it also means it's easier to control the environment.
Yeah.
Like going to someone else's would be really, really difficult.
Yeah, when you can't just ask someone to turn their Christmas lights off. It's apparently not the thing you do.
Apparently, yes. Apparently there's a social etiquette thing that you've got to worry about. And if people come here, then we've got to then play host, and then that's a whole extra layer of pressure.
Yeah.
It's just very difficult. So Christmas traditions are what you make of them. And we have specifically made a whole bunch of Christmas traditions, mostly to manage me.
Oh, and to make it magical
and
and
to make
enjoyable.
It magical and enjoyable and stuff. But also, we've intentionally planned to make the day as least stressed as possible. So our Christmas actually starts Christmas Eve.
Yeah, so we have a good long month lead up to Christmas where we have our advent calendars and we do all of the fun things that are for children that we do for ourselves. But then as it's getting closer to Christmas, like, you always book the whole of Christmas off work.
Yes.
So we know we have a good couple of weeks off. And then that means our Christmas starts whenever your last day at work is.
Yes.
And then it really starts Christmas Eve.
It really starts. So most families that we're aware of in the UK, like, it's traditional to have a big family roast, but not just any roast. The Christmas dinner.
Yes.
With
the one that takes like hours and hours to cook.
With all of the trimmings, all of the different, like, how many different types of potato, and it's the one time Brussels sprouts come out. There's stuffing, sometimes there's Yorkshire puddings, it depends what meat you're having, and it's normally for like way more people than you normally have. It's a big deal.
It is. That's the major focus after the morning presents on Christmas Day for us would be that big dinner.
Yeah.
But there is a downside to it. Someone's got to cook it.
Someone's got to cook it. It's extremely stressful. Someone has to be in and out, planning all the times, and basically not taking part in the day. And we looked at each other and just went,
nah.
That sounds awful. Can we not spend the whole of Christmas Day in the kitchen? So what we chose to do was have our Christmas roast Christmas Eve. Yeah. So everyone can chip in. It's much more of a hands-on, both of us get in there.
Yeah, it's much more of a relaxed thing because you're not having to get it done for a certain time. We just cook it for some time in the evening and we just have a great time cooking and being together.
Oh, the one year that the oven broke.
That was our first ever Christmas together.
We've got a goose.
I
don't know if we'll be able to get one this year. But we'll hopefully. And so we had this massive goose, and we shoved it in the oven, and the oven just wasn't heating up.
Yeah, we looked at it a little bit later and went, this goose is not getting hot.
Just the oven was just cold.
Yeah.
And I think in the end what we had to do was we cut the goose in half.
So we were there hacking with like a carving knife.
Butcher's knives and stuff, proper hacking away at this goose.
In half. So we could fit it in the Instant Pot.
Yeah, in two halves.
Like, the first thing I remember is us trying to put it in without cutting it in half, and there was just a goose with just legs sticking out the top of the Instant Pot.
Hilarious. And of course, again, if that had been Christmas Day...
That would have been stressful.
That would have been stressful. That could have ruined the day.
Because we would have had nothing else to eat that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it was the night before, it was just like, that's fine.
So yeah, what we did is we cooked that in the Instant Pot, and then we grilled our roast potatoes.
We boiled them and then grilled them, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was a while back now.
Yeah, and then we microwaved all of the veg. We had a great Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve.
We hobbled a Christmas dinner together. But yeah, that was... And then I managed to fix... I was so proud of myself. I managed to fix the oven. The elements had gotten it.
It was nice. But we had to wait until like the day after Boxing Day.
To get the part and order it and stuff, yeah. Oh yeah, I was so chuffed that I managed to fix the oven.
You did manage to fix the oven. But not in time for Christmas dinner.
No. So what we normally do for Christmas Day is basically we have leftovers, so we have the leftover of whatever the meat that we've had from the night before.
And we basically put on a really nice buffet spread.
Yeah, out a buffet spread. And we bring that out really quite early in the day, and that just sits out all day. And we just, throughout the day, just stuff our faces.
Eat whenever we want to eat, yeah.
Eat when you want.
But we always start, which is a tradition from my family, is we always have smoked salmon bagels in the morning.
Yeah, we have a smoked salmon bagel
breakfast. And then we put out this spread. And that just means that neither of us have to worry about feeding anyone for the entire day.
Yeah. And it's just so much more relaxing.
Yeah.
And we don't miss anything. We've had the family roast. We've had, and then this is like they're using it all up.
Yeah. Plus we have a nice cheese board and all of those things.
Yeah, we go all out for our Christmas buffet.
We do, yeah.
But that still just keeps the whole family together and everyone's fed, and it's just, it just makes the day just doing that one thing, and that was an active choice that we made.
Yeah, made all the difference.
Made so much difference to us.
Yeah, it takes the stress completely out of Christmas Day. Because Christmas Day, if you're the one in charge of organising it and making it special for everyone, it's really, really stressful.
Yeah, while everyone else is having fun. And when there's just two of you, that is a lot more obvious.
To be fair, we both just do it all together. We cook together.
Yeah, we do. Over Christmas, we actually both do an equal amount. Well, we don't. You do all the planning and get the groceries in and order it all. Let's not pretend that it is equal, to be fair.
No, but we would both go in and cook together. And one of us wouldn't be in the kitchen without the other for that meal.
Not for that meal, no.
Yeah.
Plenty of other times I send you in the kitchen on your own.
Send me into the kitchen. I would like to see you try. You would never see a wife go on strike as quickly.
I'll have to try that one day just for the hilarity of it.
You know how stubborn I can be.
So that's the food thing, and so that's like, so we've got our special breakfast. We've got our spread, and then the spread is lunch and dinner.
Yeah, we just eat.
And then normally Boxing Day as well, what's left comes out again.
We do leftovers again.
Yeah. And then drinks, depending on our mood. Some years we started the alcohol with breakfast.
And some years we don't.
And some years we didn't have any alcohol at all.
I'm very much a take or leave alcohol type person. I think that comes from growing up in a completely alcohol-free house, is that I have no association.
I did not grow up in an alcohol-free house.
No, I've met your family.
If it's in the house, I'll drink it, basically. So we don't keep a lot of alcohol in the house. I'm not an alcoholic, I swear, I promise.
Promise.
We
just can't keep it in the house.
We just don't keep alcohol in the house because I drink it. So yeah, sometimes we'll get in, like, we've got your violet gin.
Violet gin.
Yeah, which you mix with lemonade.
Yeah.
And it tastes like those Parma Violet.
It does, I really love
refreshers.
that.
And so we've got you some of that. That's alright, I'll drink it.
You prefer a dry, tasteless, bitter gin. You like your drinks as bitter as possible.
I just don't like my drinks to taste of sweeties. But I'm quite fond of a red wine.
Yeah, so we'll usually have a bottle of red wine.
Yeah, some cider maybe, or hot cider. So
mulled cider,
hot or mulled, hard cider. So we just call it cider in the UK.
Oh yeah, forget that's a different thing.
So alcoholic cider.
Yeah,
and then warm that up with some mulled spices. That's lovely. And then sometimes we'll get in a chocolate drink, something like Bailey's, but
cream sherry type thing.
Yeah, something like Bailey's, but a fraction of the price. And we'll have that in our chocolate.
Yeah.
We do also have non-alcoholic drinks.
We do. It's pretty much the only time of year we drink at all.
It is it's really the only time of year we purposefully, knowingly get in a lot of alcohol.
And even then we don't. We get like 3 bottles of different things to try.
Yeah, it's our treat time.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, Christmas is our food treat time.
It is, yeah.
We made ourselves so ill a couple of years.
We did. Because we had everything that we wouldn't normally eat.
Yeah. So much processed food, and neither of us react very well to it. And we felt so ill afterwards. Not food poisoning or anything. It just really affected our mood and our fatigue and everything, and we just felt so much more sluggish. Doesn't stop us from doing that every year though. But then every year we do it, and every year we go, well, let's not do that again. And then the next year we're like, oh, but I want all of the things.
Guess what we're going to do again this year?
Yeah, because we go shopping and there's just all of the things, and it's all just so nice.
Which probably leads us to talking about overconsumption, because there is a lot of it at this time of year, and we are not guilt-free from consuming too many things. Not just food, but stuff, presents, and things that we don't need. We are guilty of it.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the fun bits of Christmas, while also...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can recognise that we wouldn't do it if it didn't have some positive to our lives, while also recognising the impact and the negative sides.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than drinking alcohol, is it? You drink too much and
you have
it's
some
bad,
negatives.
and you have some negatives, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we don't fall into the trap as much as people can.
I mean, to start with, we do reuse our decor a lot.
Yeah, we don't buy new year on year. We do save it. We do bring it out year after year. And I can see that with how cheap it is to buy things, it would be very easy to change the theme every year.
I mean, we are in the privileged position of having a loft.
Yes.
We have storage space.
We do.
To,
that does
to
make a
this
difference.
into the loft. And there are some things that do need replacing, but we do have like a baseline of stuff, and then we'll get a couple of things.
Well, we always get one special decoration a year.
We do. We get at least one special decoration a year. It was the York trip this year.
York trip. We've also got a Christmas duck.
Christmas turkey.
For this year.
Yeah.
But that's a tradition. Another tradition we actually started together was to recognise the changing of life as our life moved on and changed. Is that at the end of the year we go, okay, what was this year about? What happened this year that's our major focus?
Yes, we do have a lockdown decoration.
We do have a 2020. We have two, in fact.
Yeah.
But unlike the year that my parents passed away, we've got some angel wings.
Angel wings for
that.
Yeah. There's a cup of tea, because there was the year that we just went all out, and like I think every week we were drinking tea.
We were out drinking tea somewhere new.
Somewhere having lunch and drinking tea. That was a good year.
It was. And this year we focused on our holiday.
Yeah. So
and your changing job.
Yes. Yeah. So at the beginning of the year we went to York for a few days. And that was really good. I bet York would be amazing at Christmas.
Yeah. You've seen it's all on TikTok. They do a light show on the inside of the Minster.
I did not see that.
Yeah,
no.
that's really nice.
Okay.
Anyway,
the Minster being the giant cathedral that's in York.
Yeah. But anyway, we can worry about that in the future. Okay. Go again, maybe.
Okay. Maybe not Christmas, because this is the downside. We don't like going places at Christmas.
No, that's true.
I mean, we do. We have been to some markets, some more local markets.
Yeah, I do always love the Christmas markets. I can't remember what the point was. Consumption. We're talking about consumption. But this is something that we, I could measure even throughout my life, is how buying of stuff at Christmas has changed. Like, when I was a kid, we had a reasonable amount of presents. One major present. And then when my nieces and nephews were celebrating Christmas, that went from some presents under the tree to an entire room filled, literally filled. That's what I'm talking about, consumption. Is that we might consume a little bit more than we should at Christmas, but not in the way that I know can be done.
I guess I've had a very different experience. My family, we have main presents, and then we have tree presents, and then there's the stockings as well. And so, your stocking is a stocking. Once it's full, it's full. Aside from the one year that the stockings became pillowcases.
I always used to have a pillowcase.
Yeah, Santa went a bit overboard that year for us. And then there's the main present, which is your bike or your skates, or it's the main event. It's the thing that you asked for, the thing you were excited for.
Yeah.
And then later in the afternoon we have the tree presents, because we split everything up to manage not too many new things in one time, which is what we do for us actually. We can get onto that in a minute. So then we have tree presents, which is generally something not on your wish list. It's generally a thoughtful present that's meant to be much smaller. But everyone had a budget.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something with, like, the way we do presents, particularly for each other, is very much about that intentionality of we set a budget.
Yes.
And it's a reasonable budget. Like, we're not going to go into debt for Christmas.
No, not for Christmas.
And that's actually quite important for both of us, I think, is that we don't want to add stress for the rest of the year for Christmas.
No, and especially when we don't need a lot of things.
No, particularly not now, yeah. And also, if we want something, we just buy it for ourselves.
We're grown-ups with our own money. We budget if we want something, we buy it whenever we want it.
Yeah, so there's that too.
So there is that, is that, yeah, we don't have somebody else controlling that flow of when we can have the things we want.
If I want a new games console, I will have a new games console, thank you very much.
You wouldn't. You would and ah about it for months.
I would still get it when I wanted and when I was ready and not dependent on anyone else. But we mentioned, sort of touch on something later, that I get overwhelmed a lot with particularly Christmas. So a lot of that is to do with presents. So although we and one of the reasons we set a budget and we do stick to it is because, and actually we run the whole day around the idea that if I get too many things in one go, I can get a bit emotional.
You do, yeah. It's almost become a goal to make you cry.
We start the day with stockings.
So we're a mixture of things we didn't ask for and things we need, generally.
Yeah. So that's what we get before breakfast, before anything. Like, that's a wake up and we can have that.
Yeah.
Then we do our breakfast. Mm-hmm. And then we have main presents.
And we control the flow of that depending on how overwhelmed you're feeling, basically.
So whereas in the past I'd have main presents and tree presents later, we don't have tree presents, we just have that one. We
just have a bunch of presents.
Yeah.
And we open them slowly. At whatever speed you're not going to get overwhelmed by. Yeah. So if you're starting to get a little bit emotional, we tend to
slow down,
rein it in, watch some TV or something.
Yeah, so I get particularly emotional with very thoughtful gifts. Which then is your goal of, like, well, what did you want that you've mentioned? And but I think that a lot of that pacing is about me.
It is about you, yeah. I would be happily just open them and be done. Yeah.
It's very much the difference between autism and ADHD. And then we have our buffet.
So I think I want to talk a little bit about the planning, the intentional planning briefly. Because we do an awful lot of planning up front for our Christmas. And that starts in November for me, where we start writing lists of food. We need meals we want to eat, any events we're going to, what social occasions we are doing.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things.
Presents for other people.
Presents for other people. And like when we're going to do a decorate. Because I know that you need to have processing time before things change. We tend to plan a lot and be intentional with that planning of, hey, we're going to do this day because you haven't got this much else on, so if you get overwhelmed, it's okay. It's not going to impact anything else.
No, but this is the impact of neurodiversity in a household is you kind of have
more planning involved.
There's so much more planning involved, yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of our intentionality is. Our traditions have kind of come out of necessity of growth, of learning more about each other and how we want to live. But the planning of those, that's the bit that we really do intentionally. We plan everything.
Yes. It helps with coping for everything, yeah. If I'm stressed, I will be with a piece of paper planning.
Yeah.
Or crying.
Planning or crying, these are the two states.
These are the two stressful states of a place.
Anyway, we should probably summarise whatever that was.
Christmas, seasons, greetings, it's fab, yay. I think it's really interesting to hear about other people's traditions and what other people do, particularly if you're in a non-traditional household. Like, I'd love to hear about what other people, how they do their day, and particularly how they manage any challenges that they have.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. So if you do things differently or want to share your holiday traditions and story, then please do let us know. You can find us on Instagram or just on YouTube in the comments. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. We will be next week with more talk of a different theme surrounding the holidays. But thank you for listening. Please do follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. And I hope you have a lovely day and we will speak soon.
Season's greetings. Bye.